What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Kerbal Space Program video. So in the last video, what we did is we set up a satellite and we put a rover on Duna. But I reckon in this video what we're going to do is we are going to set up a satellite and we're going to set up like a drone type plane on Laythe. So basically we'll be able to go to this island here, to that island, to this island, and we'll be able to fly around. And there'll be a satellite either orbiting Laythe or orbiting Jool. Whichever I decide is best is what we're going to do. Alright, so basically what we have to do is make it so 90 degrees, so like that, and then it's going to go straight up. That's basically what's going to happen. So it's just going to be a 90-degree angle. That's how we're going to figure out how we are going to get our orbit. So if I keep like this and then a little bit more, see, something like that. So like that, and then basically we're gonna launch and go all the way there. So I reckon that's good. So let's get right into it. Well, here you can see me. I'm building the rocket ship as we speak. Building it. Just testing out the entire different type of antennas that I thought I'd end up using. I ended up doing like I ended up using another part. I forgot what it is, but yeah, I'm putting the rocket on here, and you can see I'm changing the color, trying to make it look all nice and fancy. My end result ended up a bit different compared to what this is, but I reckon it turned out pretty good. Like when it was in space, it looked pretty good. Like it didn't look like a boring satellite. It actually looked pretty cool, which I like. But yeah, you can see me just adding the solar panels here. And you'll see later on that I do something else with the antenna to make it look a bit different, not so boring. So yeah, you can see me, I'm experimenting with these pieces. So I'm gonna flip it, and then flip it again. Whoa, that's too big. Not that. And then I was gonna do that, and then flip that little piece so it turns into a circle again, like that. And then, oh, what am I doing? Then yeah, I'll do that, and then pretty sure that's the... Actually, no, I used a different one, I believe. I don't use that one. You can see me messing around with it. I'm a little bit of a cheater. I like to mess around with the sizes of things. But yeah, here's it. This is the final result, I believe. I like it. I like the way it turned out. Oh, no, I'm adding the antennas. But it turned out pretty good. Like, I was happy with how it looked. I think shortly we will begin doing the actual rockets. Yeah, there we are, doing that. I'm going to put the fairing on. I think that's what it's called. Do that. And make the color a nice gray. And then we'll actually start with the rocket. So you can see that I had to change it up a little bit. I was adding what are they called? They help you control your aircraft better. And yeah, I was just fixing that up. But now we'll actually get started on the rocket. And then, yeah, so we'll start off with the little one. And we're going to put that on, but I didn't have enough fuel, so I'll put the bigger one on. Change the color to orange. So it's not the boring white. Do that. Make it higher. And we're going to put this on. We'll do this. Put that on. Yeah, change the color again, just because you don't want it to be so boring. White and black's pretty boring, so I just thought I'd make it look nice. And here I am putting the rockets on now. I made these ones just a little bit smaller so they don't clip inside of it. They're like barely smaller. Then yeah, put one in the middle. And then yeah, that's basically it. We're basically done, but all we have to do now is add. So when we do that, it'll like that, yeah. And we're gonna name it JX Link. I reckon that's a pretty good name. It's like Jool Link. It's like a link, it's like a relay satellite, just to make it easier. And here we are moving on to the next craft. So I'm about to use the same one as before. I'm just going to do a different color on it. And I was going to do a nose cone, but eventually I turned that into a air intake at the front. I'm building like I was trying to build like a very standard looking plane. It was kind of looking like an F-35 without the VTOL thing. That's what I was going for, but I ended up completely going away with that. And instead of going with the afterburner engines, I just went with like a commercial plane, just because it was I was looking for fuel efficiency. Considering we were going to go on Laythe, we don't really need speed. We just need to be able to get to where we want to go. But yeah, you can see me here. I'm adding the air brakes, but the aircraft changes that much that we don't even really see what I do. Actually, we do see what I do, but ignore that. But you can see that I'm doing it, and right there, it kind of looks like F-22 or something, or an F-35. But you can see that I completely ended up changing the design just because of how boring that looked. You can see me messing around with my own wings now, just because it's just easier. It's not really easier, but it's just better to do compared to the other wings, like the pre-made ones, just because I have the custom, I can be able to make them as big as I want and all that. You can see me doing this. It looks like crap at the moment, honestly, but you'll see what I do. It turns out a lot better than what I thought it would. It wasn't really the most maneuverable, and I'm not really sure why, but I ended up figuring that out just because I needed to add a little bit more ailerons at the front instead of having some at the back. Yeah, you'll see me doing this. It kind of looks silly. I'll do that, and then, yeah, it's not really the best. You'll see me move on to a different design just because I thought this was ugly, and it is ugly. I'm probably about to scrap it shortly, to be honest. You can just see that I just got rid of the other thing completely. I went for the same front design, but this definitely turned out better. You can see that I made it a bit thicker at the front, and I put this engine here. And I went for more like an SR-71 Blackbird without the hypersonicness, I guess, because I just used a normal commercial type engine at the back, and I used 2 afterburning engines on the side, but I just made them like really small just to make it easier. But you can see here I went for something like this. It looks pretty cool. Like, I like how it turned out. And you'll see me adding the ailerons. They're far too small. Had nowhere near as much lift as what I needed to have. But yeah, I think after this I'm probably going to do the engines on the side, or no, just fix that up. Okay. Yeah, here I am adding the engines on the side. You can just see me trying to figure out how to put them on there, because honestly, Kerbal Space Program, the way you have to move crap to put stuff onto stuff is so annoying. It's really unfortunate that Kerbal Space Program 2 failed, how badly it did. But yeah, you can see what I'm doing here. Move it there, move it in the middle more. And I'm going to add, first, I add just 2 small versions of the commercial, so those ones there. But they did not give enough thrust, and I just needed the way the bloody, I don't know, forget about it. But yeah, you can see me, I'm adding the vertical ailerons just for a bit of stability. I put them on a bit of an angle, and then now I'm just doing the wings. I think shortly I'm going to try my first flight. It doesn't really go well because, like I said, the wing ailerons, they're far too small, and I had nowhere near as much lift. And I ended up adding some solar panels, as you can see, and it was honestly dumb of me to add an antenna on the outside of it, just because, well, I'm flying a plane. The wind is going to break it, and I didn't know that. So later on, you'll see me cut the video, and I'll kind of be a bit cheeky, and I'll magically teleport one. But yeah, here I am. I'm about to start, and first impressions, it doesn't lift off at all. It's not letting me see how much fuel it has, but I bet it has a boatload because there's loads of fuel in here. Right, let's go. I'm just gotta see if it has enough thrust to lift off, actually, because... Oh! Okay, yeah. That's one thing we gotta work on. It just needs more thrust. So it didn't really need more thrust, it needed more lift just because those back and front ailerons weren't big enough. So you can see here, I'm just making on the wings, just making those ailerons a bit bigger so it can actually lift off and it can lift itself up and down when it's flying. And I think soon I'm gonna change the front ailerons. But yeah, on Laythe, it worked a lot better than what I thought it would, just because obviously it's not as, like, the gravity, it has less gravity, and yeah, you can just see that I changed the front ailerons. So we're about to see how it flies now, and I think this is close to the final result. Right, here we go again. I guess we'll try this one more time. Turn on SAS. Come on, lift up, lift up. You know you want to. Oh! And how does it stay? So we don't need anything incredibly, like, fast or anything. All we're really chasing is something that can go where we need it to in a nice, calm manner. So I finished the rocket. Off camera, I added those afterburners on the side engines, on the side fuel tanks, and you can see I'm just adding some spotlight type things, like as they do have with real planes. But at the moment, you can just see that I'm building the spaceship. I couldn't get a decoupler to sit on top of the air intake, so I did something like this. I just messed around with the angle of it a bit, and it turned out a lot better than what I thought it would, and it actually worked fairly well when we had to do this. So yeah, but you can see me, I'm messing around with it, making sure that decoupler is where it needs to be, and then I'm gonna put a heat shield, a 10-meter heat shield on top of there. You can see here I'm adding another one there just to make sure, and then yeah, there's the heat shield. I just didn't work properly just because I had the decoupler on the wrong way. You can see me trying to figure it out. But again, that's the wrong way again. Then you'll see me try again with the 10-meter heat shield. And I'm like, oh, why is it not working? But then I flip it, put it back there, flip it, and then it works completely fine there. So that's how I needed it. It flipped out uncontrollably when I was in the atmosphere of Laythe, but I'm not sure why it did it. I thought it would work well, but it didn't. But you can see I'm doing the same type of thing, like I'm adding another decoupler there, and then I'm gonna put it on an angle, and then I am going to do a similar type thing. But for some reason, I'm assuming because of the fact that the plane wasn't sitting on the angle that it was meant to, it just wasn't sitting properly. So every time I'd use the engines in space, I would have to control it without using, well, I'd have to basically assist SAS, basically. You can see me doing the engine now. I'm just going to make it, it's a pretty big rocket I used. You can see me, I'm about to mess around with the engines a little bit. I think they're normal size, these ones, and I ended up using some solid boosters on the side just because it was really slow with just that. And to be honest, I think I needed to use the solid boosters anyway, just because I wouldn't have had enough fuel to get to Laythe. Well, as you can see, I'm about to add the RCS thrusters on the side. I like these ones a lot just because I don't have to have a monopropellant, I think that's what it's called, tank on the side of the craft. And it actually uses the rocket fuel for those, and it has a bit more thrust anyway, which is good. You can see here that I'm just making sure that, like, when the rocket separates, it pushes itself away using those. And I just launched it just then, and it was barely going up, so I decided to add these liquid fuel things, the rockets on the side, and those helped it go up a lot. So as you can see here, I'm just getting the staging organized, and I'm just going to double check everything to make sure I have everything organized and make sure that the rocket itself is ready to go. But yeah, I'm not going to launch this one first. I'm going to do the satellite first, and then after I launch the rocket of the satellite, then I'm going to launch the plane. And then basically they'll kind of travel together, if you know what I mean. Right, so here we are. We're going to launch this bad boy, as you can see. It looks pretty standard, nothing really too interesting. There we go. Very nice. So here we are. We're looking pretty good, as you can see. It's gone pretty fast too. Nothing really too bad, not too shabby. I should have added some wings on the bottom just to help it control a bit better, but as it is, it controls great already, which is good. Alright, back to the voiceover, just because if I was to play this game at real speed, it'd be such a long video. But as you can see here, I'm just arranging the orbit, making sure everything looks good. I still have some leftover fuel, which is good. I didn't burn all of it, so I can use just a little bit of that fuel to finalize the orbit, which is going to be good. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Now, of course, the game has to freeze to be able to, I don't know, make sure the game's working properly or something. There we go. That's already faster, heck yeah. Very nice, very nice. So you can see that we've got the other one in orbit. So that one's just going to act as a relay satellite, so when the drone, because the drone's so far, it'll help it keep signal with Kerbal so we can still control it. Alright, back to the voiceover. You can see here that the solid rockets, they have more fuel than what I originally thought they would have, which is good. So you can just see there that we burned them away. Nothing blew up, which is good. We'll be in space shortly, and then we will get the orbit sorted. So once we get that done, I believe we are gonna get our maneuver to Jool organized, and then we can move on from there. As you can see, I was just getting the solar panels done, and now we are moving on to the orbit. So we're gonna go to our maneuver node and start our burn. Alright, switching over to the satellite now, you can just see we're getting the antennas organized, gonna get those solar panels up, just because there's been so many times where I've got my solar panels, well, I've forgotten solar panels, and all of a sudden I've had no electricity mid-journey, and it annoys me so much. You can see here that I'm just getting the maneuver node sorted to Jool to transfer to Jool's orbit. I just got the maneuver node done and dusted with the satellite, so we got that done. Now we're just going to move on to the maneuver node with the drone just to get it to Jool. As you can see there, we've got it all organized. I'm going to skip through the finicky stuff of trying to make it all nice and the trip to there. I'll just cut right to it, so I'll see you there. Now, moving on to the circularization of our orbit on Jool. So as you can see, we've got our circularization node set up, and I think at the moment we are just going to have to speed over there. Try and get this organized, yep, get it all done, started, and finished. Alright, so now that we've got it done, we have to do a little bit more just because it's not fully circularized. It's because we can't do it on first try, obviously. So what we have to do now is, yeah, just like that, we have finished up with it, and now we are going to move over to our drone. Well, here we are moving over to our drone now, doing the same thing as before. We're just going to it's a bloody annoying word to say, circularize it, and then we're going to speed up the time so we can get there. Woo, 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 woo. There we go, just a little bit. And yeah, as you can see on the ball thing, it's like very annoying to control. We're getting the burn over and done with, and then guess what? The game crashes. Very fun. Well, you know, I'm just glad I didn't lose any progress, to be honest, because it would have sucked if I had to do the whole mission apart. I only lost like 5 minutes of progress, which is good. But yeah, you can see me. I've just circularized it, and we're gonna try and get the maneuver node sorted to Laythe. So as you can see, I am currently trying to figure out the maneuver nodes by myself. It's really annoying because it wasn't showing me, even if when I had Laythe set as a target, it wasn't showing me when I was like entering or exiting Laythe's gravity of influence. It was pretty annoying. I don't know why it was doing it. You can just see there that I completely passed it. So yeah, I failed there. But yeah, moving on, I used it using mech jeb, and I'm about to make a maneuver to 8,000 meters or so, because I'm just going to directly enter the atmosphere, and hopefully I'll be able to use the heat shielding to slow me down in the atmosphere. It didn't work out as intended. I kind of used the whole entire plane as a heat shield because it folded in on itself and was kind of dumb. But yeah, you can see me. I'm going to enter the atmosphere shortly. We're at 200,000 meters or so. Yeah, you can see me just facing forwards, and I'm going to get that organized. That is really pretty. It is really pretty. That mod, what's it called? Firefly, I think. It is so gorgeous. I don't know how they did it. It looks amazing. You know, like, props to them for being able to make it, because this, compared to normal Kerbal Space Program, it looks horrible. So yeah, you can just see me, I'm reloading a save because it just didn't work properly. After a little bit of being a bit sneaky and all that, I managed to land the aircraft on Laythe. As you can see, it looks pretty good. Like, this mod, stunning. Parallax, Lacrax mod, and the volumetric clouds, it looks amazing. So as you can see here, I'm just taking off. I'm going to go to another island, and I'm going to take off. Alright, so here I am flying. You can just see how beautiful it is. Like, it's a really... This game with mods, it is one of the most beautiful games out there. I'm about to head into my map, and you'll see the island that I'll be flying to. So when I zoom in, that island at the top right there, that's the one that we're going to be going to. So I'll see you guys there. I hope you guys enjoyed that little mini cutscene, or whatever we want to call it. We will be heading to try and land somewhere shortly. This thing actually lands pretty well, like with the air brakes, and the lower gravity on Laythe, it works a lot better than what I thought it would. So yeah, I'll just cut to when we're gonna land. Alrighty, well here we are going in for our landing, deploying the landing gear. We're going to land on the slope here. It's relatively flat. And yeah, so I reckon we'll have touchdown very, very shortly. So what are we? We are at 130 meters per second, 120. It's still pretty fast, but you can see that we're just gliding. Just gliding. I'm going to make it as soft as possible, even though we almost crash when we land. But yeah, as you can see here, it's looking pretty good. Just gliding and... So yeah, you can see it kind of turns like that. I expected it to flip or freak out, but it didn't, and it worked out a lot better than what I thought it would. So here we are going over to the cliff edge now, and we'll be able to see the whole view of Laythe. It's pretty amazing, I must say so myself. So yeah, here we are. It looks pretty good. Yeah. Well, here we are. We got to the end of the video. We got to where we wanted to be. You can just see how beautiful it is being on top of this cliff. It is beautiful. If you guys enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Please give it a like. It keeps me going, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.